Coming up, a meeting in Dalton gets way out of hand after board members vetoed controversial Mayor Tiffany Henyard. A house explosion shakes a suburban neighborhood, and it's caught on tape. Crime on the north side has an alderman pushing for a curfew. Wrigley Field is about to change into a soccer field. A couple goes fishing and reel in $100,000 in cash. Mandatory mini camp wraps up for the Bears, and we met an animal most people have never seen. This is your Fox Chicago Week in Review.
One of the most chaotic meetings in Dalton that we've seen yet. Police had to stop it from getting physical.
Let's get right to political reporter Paris Schutz and the showdown between Lori Lightfoot and Dalton Mayor Tiffany Henyard. Paris.
Dawn and Scott, that showdown is continuing outside of Dalton Village Hall. Trustees voted 4-2 to override Mayor Henyard's veto and reinstate Mayor Lori Lightfoot's investigation into Henyard's spending into that 2023 trip to Las Vegas. And as you mentioned, soon after that vote, things just broke down into utter chaos. Multiple sides shouting obscenities at each other. Cops had to step in and break it up. This is right after Henyard and her allies tried to block Lightfoot from getting up and making some brief remarks. Eventually, Lightfoot got her mic turned on, and here's a little bit of what she had to say.
Thank you. All right. What I will say is that it's an honor to be working on behalf of the residents of Dalton. We have not rested while
you was once a mayor too. You should not even be disrespectful like that.
Want to stop us and obstruct our ability to get to the facts.
Clear the room. Clear the room. Clear the room, guys. This means adjourn. Everybody out.
So 2 hours of absolute contention here. Lots of residents voicing their concerns. Earlier today, Mayor Henyard had the block in front of Village Hall cordoned off, making it very difficult for folks to get here, especially if you were senior or disabled. So Lightfoot's investigation, at least according to trustees, is back on now. It's going to focus into Henyard's spending of village resources as well as that 2023 trip to Las Vegas. And Henyard doesn't believe the investigation is legal. Now, residents lined up hours before the meeting. They got in, they packed the Village Hall, and they let their feelings about Mayor Henyard be known.
You're not going to understand until they put those cuffs on you. You're not going to understand it. You don't care. But baby, they on to you.
It is a shame that we, the public, can't ask you anything about the BMWs, the Range Rovers, all of that. It's like you're keeping all of that hidden from the taxpayers, and we pay for those.
You guys are following fiction, a made-up story. It is a smear campaign going on right now. People are using.
So as you can see right outside Dalton Village Hall here on MLK Drive in the village of Dalton, residents still fuming, still voicing their concerns to police officers. Police officers had to keep the peace as the meeting erupted into chaos. But the news out of this meeting, trustees vote 4-2 against Mayor Henyard. They reinstate Lightfoot's investigation into things that the FBI is also probing right now. A lot of things happening here in Dalton.
The family, they tell me that they don't believe the motive here was robbery. In fact, they weren't robbed for anything. What they did tell me is as these kids were attacking them, they yelled out that they own the streets. The family don't want to be identified, but they do want people to be warned that these teen gatherings can turn violent really quickly.
Please, we're just trying to go home to our kid. Leave us alone. Why are you doing this to us?
This is where Nina and her husband were walking back from date night Friday after 8:30 in Streeterville.
Everything happened from behind us. First, someone approached him and hit his head, punched him in the head, and he looked back and he looked at me and told me, run. So he wanted to protect me.
These are images of his injuries, bruising from head to toe. The attackers then unleashed their rage on Nina.
Another lady came to me and dragged me through my hair, with my hair on the ground. I start screaming. She start pepper spraying me right in the face, in the eyes. Another person starts stomping all over me, and my husband ran towards me to save me. Over 10 people held him.
Nina's hair was pulled from her scalp. Nina captured this image of the hair in her hand. When police arrived at Grand and McClure, the crowd started running, many hopping this fence. 2 teens were arrested and charged, a 17-year-old girl and a 14-year-old boy. The teens aren't in police custody. Alderman Brian Hopkins says the teens shouldn't be able to get away with this.
We're asking the state's attorney to consider upgrading those charges to felony charges resulting in great bodily harm. Both victims suffered extensive injuries, and the medical examination is ongoing.
Nina was 2 weeks pregnant and says she found out after the attack that she lost the baby she was carrying.
We believe in faith, and it wasn't meant to be. So we don't know why this happened to us, you know, and everything that we have.
Well, Alderman Hopkins told me that police are doing everything they can. I do want to point out the fact when we were back in the area of the AMC Theater in Streeterville, there was about a group of 50 teens. Chicago police tell us they are still monitoring that situation tonight. Right now, the citywide curfew for anyone 12 to 17 years old is 10 o'clock at night. But in Streeterville, the alderman wants to change that to 8 o'clock at night. And that would go from Division Street to Roosevelt Road and from Halsted to Lake Michigan. Alderman Brian Hopkins of the 2nd Ward says a group of teens were gathering at Roosevelt and Clark back in March. There was a shooting there and 1 teen died.
Everybody use caution. These kids are running all through traffic.
Because of this, the alderman says they moved to Streeterville because they feel safer. But with summer break just hours away for thousands of Chicago students and teen trends still happening,
No supervision, no parental presence. That's when the bad things happen.
Hopkins wants a curfew starting at 8 in the evening for anyone under 18, unaccompanied by an adult in the Central Business District, which will include the Streeterville neighborhood in its entirety. Parks included unless there's an official event put on by the Park District and City. Is this a situation where you could potentially be arrested if you do not follow police's orders?
Yes, you could. We think it's unlikely, though, because as you pointed out, just simply the threat of it is usually more than enough to stop the undesired activity.
Hopkins says he doesn't think it's everyone, but says the violence has condo associations on edge. 2 buildings in this area just made the call this week to hire full-time security on site.
But given what's happening out there, I don't blame them.
Just a few inches one way or the other could have made things much worse for Father Jeremiah Lynch. But thank goodness tonight he is all right. There's a mark on his forehead, either from a bullet or a piece of door damaged by the gunfire that grazed him. Father Lynch lives at a Jesuit residence on West Taylor Street. St. Ignatius College Prep in the University of Chicago, Illinois, Chicago, or nearby. So around 6 a.m., Father Lynch heard what sounded like construction. He went to go check it out. He saw 2 guys trying to swipe a catalytic converter from a car in the parking lot. When he questioned them, they started shooting.
It was bam, bam, bam. And you can see the bullet holes in the door, at least 2. And he pushed the door closed, but he said, by the grace of God, he's here. He said if he had turned his head one way or another, he might have actually caught the bullet.
Father Lynch helps young people at the Cook County Jail. He says tonight he is praying for the men police are still looking for.
Last month, Zet Rodriguez was shot and killed on his way into work as a crisis response counselor. The 24-year-old had just welcomed a baby girl 6 months earlier. He was walking to the bus at around 7 in the morning in the 3900 block of North Pittsburgh Avenue. That's when police say 32-year-old Devontae Calhoun ran up to him demanding money before shooting him right in the chest. Calhoun left Rodriguez there and got into a car driven by 41-year-old Justin Redmond, allegedly. Police were able to connect the 2 to this crime in part by using data records from their cell phones and also surveillance videos.
The callous actions of these offenders left the victim's loved one and an entire community mourning the loss of a young father.
I can't speak for the family, but I'm sure they're ecstatic. Every time you hear something about a murder or anything violent, people always say they want closure and they want justice, and hopefully justice will prevail here. And I'm confident that with all the hard work and diligence what these detectives did, we have the right people.
Both Calhoun and Redmond face charges of first-degree murder, among others, in this killing. And of course, we've heard this time and time again. And in this case as well, investigators say both were convicted felons on parole at the time of the murder.
The victim's mother says she's been looking for her son for at least 6 months, that he was in an abusive relationship living with his partner. Yesterday, that grieving mother finally found her son. However, police say his body was badly decomposed.
Mi hijo era noble, era bueno. Nunca se metía en problemas. Fue sobreviviente de cáncer.
Aida Limos describing her son Oscar Valenzuela as a good guy, hard worker, and a cancer survivor.
Excuse me, from the forensics, they want to talk to one of you guys?
This is video inside the 47-year-old's apartment where Limos says her son's body was found inside a closet, wrapped in a blanket, buried under lots of clothes. The mom saying her son was stabbed and suffocated. Police were called to the basement unit here in the 5300 block of South Hermitage around 7:30 Tuesday night. Police saying it was abandoned. Clothes are seen scattered with a refrigerator and freezer still full of food.
Yo lo encontré muerto a mi hijo enrollado como una alfombra.
Limos reported her son missing in March after last seeing him December 13th. During that time, the family came to the home to gather his belongings after still no sign of him. Relatives telling Fox 32 Valenzuela lived here with his partner for 6 years. Neighbors are stunned.
That we do hope and have confidence that the police will do their diligence and determine just what's happening here. They've already spoken to the landlord.
Now, we've learned that Valenzuela was a manager at IHOP for at least 24 years. He leaves behind 2 daughters. The mom says she's been unable to contact her son's partner. Police tell us that this is still an active investigation, a death investigation, as they're waiting on autopsy results.
Police say that woman is in critical condition, and we are learning it was witnesses who chased down her attacker.
Unison Citywide, we're getting a person stabbed at Union Station, Adams and Canal.
In the middle of a lunchtime rush, Adams and Canal was marked off by crime scene tape.
Just knowing how busy this area is in the afternoon and the fact that that can happen in broad daylight is frightening.
A shocking attack drawing first responders to Union Station.
Definitely saw a little bit of police, which I'm surprised because if they're here for a while, that means it's something like serious.
Around 1:30, police say a 71-year-old woman was near the sidewalk when a man stabbed her multiple times with a sharp object.
Female stabbed in the back, offender fled, fires on the way zone.
According to dispatch audio, those nearby jumped into action.
Caller is chasing a man who he witnessed attack a female on the street.
Soon, the suspect was arrested by police.
Citizens are holding the offender at Tilden and Clinton.
The attack troubling to those who live and work in the area.
You hear about this stuff, like I said, on the news, but it's kind of something that you don't expect to be so close to you and hit so close to home.
As detectives continue to investigate, commuters on Wednesday reacted to the vicious attack.
But it's a shame because Chicago's a great city and it's really sad to see.
There's a lot of stuff going on in the world, this just adds on to the many things that happen, but I hope for the better,
A motive for the attack hasn't been released, but police tell us charges against the suspect are pending.
The victims were both brothers, both in their 60s. The shooter remains on the loose tonight, and now we've learned the property that they were on, the property that was on fire, was their mother's. She died just a few days ago.
Pretty creepy. Lived here for a long time. I've never seen anything like this.
Police say the 2 brothers were killed from multiple gunshot wounds. Their bodies were just steps away from the burning house on Park Avenue West near Sunnyside. The victims were discovered by crews responding to a structure fire call just before 4 a.m. Wednesday.
There's been nothing like this ever over here, so it's just all so sad and crazy.
The victims have been identified as 63-year-old Mark Ostwick and 60-year-old John Ostwick. Fox 32 has confirmed the property owner, their mother, died just last week. She was 84.
I don't know anything with what went on. I just came out and this is what I saw. I do know that there was like an older woman who lived there. She used to be sitting on the front lawn a lot when the weather was nice. And I know nothing about her. She was married, had kids, I don't know. And then just in the last few weeks, the house went up for sale. So I don't know if she moved out, passed away, moved to somewhere else. I really don't know.
Neighbors say the house had been for sale on and off for a while, but was back on the market. Police blocked off Park Avenue West for the better part of the day, searching for clues. Neighbors just stunned to see their quiet street turned into a homicide scene.
It's just really scary for everyone, especially the kids, because they've gone through so much in this town since 4th of July.
Police say this was an isolated incident. There is no current threat to the community. Still, no one is in custody. The cause of the fire also remains under investigation. In Highland Park, Elizabeth Matthews, Fox 32, Chicago.
The investigators are still here, but they did find the body of an adult male here on the scene, presumed to be the 77-year-old homeowner, though no official identification has been made. There is some steam going on back there. They did decide to put more water on the fire. They've been keeping an eye on this all night. This fire happened last night. They've had a crew out here since then. Just past those trees, there is a firefighter hitting it with some water, and some other units have just rolled up. You can hear the sound of their engines. There were two neighbor boys out playing basketball when all this happened. A Ring camera video captured the explosion and the impact. 13-year-old Emmanuel Hernandez and a friend were shooting hoops when the blast happened. The upper left corner, you see the flames coming from that house. The force knocked down one boy. The adults ran out. They saw the fire. They called 911. Neighbors from all over said they could feel it, the explosion. It knocked pictures off walls down the street. It destroyed this house, and it caused a fire that burned intensely for about an hour and a half. Debris rained down on lawns. There was damage to other houses. Now, the boy playing ball and his father, they saw that video. They were grateful. No one else was hurt.
Well, it was pretty scary to see that happen because anything could have actually happened. Debris could have hit them. There's multiple items that actually blown and hit the other building. If they were playing on this side, anything could have happened, so that was pretty scary.
The whole rush of just the explosion, the heat, like I could feel the boom in my chest. It was just.
Did you realize what had happened?
No, not right away.
What did you do?
I ran.
But he and the other boy were able to come back and take a look. Nobody was hit by debris, thank goodness. Residents say their neighbor was cordial, but he lived alone, kept to himself. They called him Tim, still not officially identified, and neither is the cause. And that is a great concern for the neighbors who are here that are concerned that maybe there might be a problem in the neighborhood. The fire department, the chief of the fire department here is expected to give an update soon.
The mayor of Posen today says that this is all about safety, and as a result, the Park District says they will no longer hold their annual carnival as a result of what took place here over the weekend.
To that end, I move that the Posen Park District no longer hosts an annual carnival moving forward. Do I have a second?
I second it. Just like that, Posen's Park District voting unanimously to cease its annual carnival. Here's just a glimpse of the chaos with multiple police agencies responding.
It was just a flash mob, if you will, that decided to come and create all this chaos. That's what happened.
The 4-day event was held here at Commissioners Park along West 148th Street. More than 2,000 attendees. Police say teens not from the area came and took over the event. There were fights coupled with teens running through the streets. Susan Adema lives nearby.
It's the best thing to do for our own safety. I live around the corner, and I did not like seeing this unrest. It reminded me of when they broke into the gas station during that civil unrest with whatever situation that happened a few years back.
At least 4 people were arrested, including 2 teens and 2 adults. The police chief says teens may have learned of the event through social media. Done means done. No more carnivals.
No more carnivals. No more carnivals.
What do you say to your residents, Mayor, who believe that that's unfair, that a few bad apples should not stop the fun for everyone?
Well, first of all, it was more than a few bad apples. It was about 400 bad apples. So that's more than we can put in a barrel.
And we know that Huntley has also canceled their summer carnival. The mayor here in Posen tells me last year they canceled their carnival after reports of a teen takeover on social media. We do understand that there were no injuries.
Coming up, Wrigley Field gets a makeover for a historic soccer match. Amazon's popular show, The Boys, is back. And Jake talks with the cast about what the audience gets wrong. And a couple fishing with magnets finds $100,000.
I am joined this morning by Red Stars forward Ali Siegel, who is here to tell me about an historic event that is happening at Wrigley Field this weekend. It's happening Saturday night. Tell us what's happening.
We're playing the Bay FC at Wrigley Field. It's going to be the first professional women's game in 80 years since the Women's Baseball League played there 80 years ago.
From a league of their own. It's been a while, huh?
Yes.
What does being able to play in such an historic venue mean to you and the rest of the squad?
I think it means everything. I think it means like a pretty big opportunity for us to show who we are in front of the Chicago crowd. I think knowing it's such a historic moment, especially for women's sports, I think we're going to really wear that on our chest.
I love it. Yeah, there has been obviously a lot of hype around women's sports these last couple of weeks, especially. What is your message to folks who may have a little free time on Saturday? Understand there are still tickets available. Wrigley Field seats, what, 40,000 fans?
Yes. I mean, if you want to see some of the best women's soccer athletes in the world playing at an incredibly historic stadium, I think you have to make it out there. What else are you going to do on a Saturday, beautiful Saturday in Chicago summer? I think you got to make it out there.
Mike Kaplan gave us a really good forecast for this weekend, so I think that's great. Okay, what's the outlook against you guys against Bay FC?
You know, I think we're playing an incredible opponent, one that's going to play some really great soccer. But I think, you know, we've been working hard all week to deal with what they're going to be throwing at us. And so I think we will come out with a win on Saturday.
Ali Schlegel, what is going to be your game day strategy to make sure that the Red Stars get into the win column?
I think I'm just going to stay relaxed, enjoy the moment, you know, let this be the historic moment that it is, but also know that it's soccer and it's a game that I love to play. It's a game I've been playing since I was little, so I'm just going to go out there and enjoy the moment.
Can a baseball field make for a good soccer pitch?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I think so.
Okay, we're going to work on our soccer skills to actually hype up something really cool happening right here on Fox 32 this summer. It is the Summer of Stars. On our air is the Copa America and Euro 2024 tournaments. And look at this challenge we have behind us. Ali and I are going to do our best to get into that 50, or maybe for me it's the 5, or maybe for me it's just not injuring anyone here on the plaza. We've got a little different strategy here. You're doing like the toe lift. I can't really do that very well. Okay, let's see. Let's see. Oh! Okay, I'm going to go for my kick. I hope I don't embarrass myself too badly. Ah! Right in the middle. Okay, we're going to work on our skills, but the Summer of Stars about to kick off right here on Fox 32. And for more information on how you can get tickets to this weekend's game, go to ChicagoRedStars.com. Kickoff is at 6:30, and there are still tickets available.
This country is corrupt beyond repair, so we got to save it. Friends, you better think again. It's not going to be easy. We'll have to do some terrible things for the greater good. You'll no longer be beloved celebrities. But the good in the fewest of ways. You will be wrathful gods.
The popular superhero series The Boys returns for a new season on Prime Video next week. And TV's Jake Hamilton had the chance to speak with the entire
I demand
cast.
everyone address me that way. TV's Jake Hamilton.
Yeah,
exactly right. So The Boys is one of the most popular shows on TV right now. It asks the question, what if superheroes existed in our society, if we treated them like celebrities, and more importantly, what if they were just total jerks? I spoke with the stars and the creator of The Boys to find out if they've ever gotten any reactions from the world of Marvel or DC about this controversial and violent series. And they told me the craziest reaction they've gotten are from fans who are misinterpreting the series in a very big way.
When Martin Sheen did West Wing, he used to say that he would get messages from politicians saying, like, you guys are nailing it, you got this right. And James Gandolfini used to say that when he was doing Sopranos, he used to get letters from actual wise guys about how accurate it was. So I'm sort of curious, like, who do you guys hear from about The Boys that you're nailing it? And have you ever heard from any of the actors from the Marvel and DC movies and shows and gotten their thoughts on it?
No, I just hear from my parents saying, "What is wrong with you?"
I have not, because I'm sure they would all be immediately fired if they reached out to tell me how similar their lives were to the horror that we're putting on The Boys.
I'm yet to hear from Superman.
We were on Obama's list
Oh,
of
yeah,
shows.
that's
The
right.
President of the United States.
But it says everything that the president, a politician said something, and then like the superhero world that we're, satirizing is not maybe going to say as much.
No, I would think not.
No.
Yeah.
No one specifically who have played superheroes, and I actually don't recommend they do. I think it would be dangerous for their careers.
I think the strangest thing for me is the feedback that people really love Homelander. A lot of people.
When you say love, like he's a great character to watch, and the performance is fantastic.
No, I mean they just somehow glom onto the character in a way that I didn't expect would happen, which is it's a little strange to me. There's some that misinterpret the intention behind what we're trying to say.
The show is many things. Subtle is not one of them. If you think Homelander is the hero of this show, I just don't know what to tell you besides like seek therapy.
There have been fans that have said like, "You're my hero, Homelander," and I'm like,
But also like, but it's interesting. We're still surprised by that, right? I mean, look at who was like
"You're my hero."
Could we
And
still be
Ash is
surprised
also
by
like,
that?
he's like,
Yes. It's a good reminder, though. Like
he's fun to watch. I'm not going to deny that. I love it. I love. He's
a fan
palpable. He's
favorite.
fantastic. He's an incredible actor. Like he does the character so well.
We're going to have more from the cast and creator of The Boys in the next hour of Good Day Chicago. The new season premieres next week on Prime Video. Seasons 1 through 3 are already streaming. And yeah, if you watch The Boys, Homelander should not be a person you relate to. If you relate to Homelander, take a moment, reassess.
Seek help.
Fulton Market District. I love this area, and this is the literal definition of sweet dreams. Don't you just want one or maybe two of everything you see here? Yeah. So this is the Goddess and Grocer, where they are 100% woman owned, 90% woman operated, and I get to chat here with the culinary director, Hilda Izusi, one of the boss ladies in the house. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Doing very well, especially now because this looks great. So tell me what we have here, because there's a lot going on. Things that you have regularly and things that you have for June celebrations.
Yes, of course. So what we have here, like in June, we're celebrating Pride and we're celebrating the dads, right? So here we have like our assortment of our Pride cakes. We jazz it up a little bit more for this month to give it an extra sparkle. A fun thing to mention too is that this month we're donating $1 out of every slice to the center in Holstead, which is the biggest center in the Midwest that supports LGBTQ plus people. So that's also a great organization to help out. Here we have some sort of like baskets for father, and then like a number one dad cake. That all of this is available through our catering and through our stores. And then here we have a delicious assortment of a combination of breakfast and lunch items. So we have anything from your breakfast sandwiches to wraps to breakfast quesadillas to like my personal favorite, a grilled cheese with short ribs. So a lot of different varieties for anyone and anything that you're looking for. We have it here. Also very cool products.
Who wants to actually eat this when you can just look at it all day? This is so cute.
It's very cute, but it's tastier than it looks. So you just can't imagine how good it is.
Well, thank you all so much for having us here today, Hilda. It's been great. Again, they are 100% woman-owned, 90% woman-run. So there are a lot of ladies around here who are doing their thing. They also support so many women-owned businesses. Make sure you come out. This is their newest location, but there are 4 in total, right?
Yeah, so we have one in Bucktown, one in
in the Gold Coast?
Yes, sorry, thank you. One in Fulton Market, and we have one in the airport.
All right, there's plenty of ways you can find them, especially online as well before you head out the door.
James Cain and Barbie Agostini have an unusual bonding activity called magnet fishing. And this past Friday in Flushing Meadows Corona Park, their magnet bonded with this safe. As James lifted the safe out of the water, they made the thrilling discovery: in a plastic bag inside, $100,000 in cash. The Queens couple immediately called police to report their discovery. With no identification on the safe, they say they were told finders keepers. Their working theory that the safe was stolen and dumped by thieves who did not closely inspect what was inside a plastic bag inside that safe. With the bills badly damaged, James and Barbie are sending the stash to the U.S. Treasury in D.C. to have them validated and hopefully replaced. In the meantime, the magnet fishing continues. It's tiring and grimy work, but a hobby that's paid off for these two in a big way, just 11 months into their unusual pastime. Turning every gun over to police, they hope it might be the key to unsolved cases and that the discoveries could bring closure to victims of those cases. As for their magnet fishing adventures, the couple says they plan to keep fishing and to prove their big discovery wasn't a fluke.
It is the moment that everyone has been waiting on for the last 4 hours as we have been leading up to the donut eating contest. Now let me give you a little background here as these gentlemen get ready for their moment to shine. We have been telling you all morning about the 86th anniversary of National Donut Day, and now it is time to put the donuts where your mouth is. Joining us today are some special competitors ready to eat a bunch of donuts.
All for a great cause, so we are really looking forward to. Hopefully you guys ate a little bit light this morning. We got any bids on who we think is going to win?
Come on now.
Okay.
Oh,
all
you
right.
said him.
All right. All right. Well,
we have a former football player, and yet you said me.
Yeah, you got it. You never know what's going to happen.
Okay.
We're about to find out real soon.
Did you want to go over who we have here?
Well, you guys, give us an idea of who you are.
Henry Melton, former Chicago Bear. I'm happy to be here.
Brian Hood, former military, veteran, Army.
Yeah, Major KK, Salvation Army.
And who are you, sir?
My name is Anthony, and I work for a local TV station.
He wants to stay anonymous. Okay. All right. So if you're ready, we are ready. Thank you each for joining us. You're going to have a few minutes on the clock.
We get 1 minute?
1 minute. Excuse me. We've put it down to 1 minute. So pack them in. On 3, 2, 1, go! Come on, guys, you can do better than that. Come on, only 1 minute.
All right.
Come on, you're still on your first one. Pack it in, pack it in, pack it in.
We got the water going. All right. Come on, Anthony, we count on you. Okay. Anthony's got a different strategy here. Looks like condoking. Okay, all right. Okay, all right. We're on to number 2. Take a deep breath. He's on market. Right. Just got it. Right. That is it.
Okay, do we have a count?
I don't know. Hopefully somebody in the studio was counting.
The raising of the pride flag here at Daly Plaza is more than a ceremony. It's an accounting of how pride-related legislation and attitudes are going in Cook County. There are more elected officials who are out or open and dedicated to fighting for LGBTQ rights, several noting that they are the first openly queer, gay, or lesbian elected commissioner or alderperson, what was once a rare category. The Cook County Pride flag includes the colors of the rainbow, pink and blue for transgender and non-binary persons, black and brown for marginalized communities. It is posted with the Cook County flag, announcing that Chicago and Cook County are welcoming and accepting.
From ensuring that our marriage certificates reflect the people we serve and how they identify,
to ensuring that the Cook County Human Rights Ordinance protects all Cook County residents, we have a lot to be proud of.
Let's make sure that people that are living outside of the city of Chicago and Cook County can hear the joy, they can hear and feel the love, and know that this is truly a place that welcomes them.
And it is our collective responsibility to continue advocating for a world where everyone, regardless of their sexual orientation or gender identity, can live openly and authentically.
Officials say there's work to be done to stop violence and discrimination, but Pride Month is cause for celebration, something they can unite over.
Veterans go back to France for the 80th anniversary of D-Day. The Bears stadium plans dealt a blow by the budget, but they're not giving up. And what on earth is this animal at Brookfield Zoo, Chicago?
80 years since one of the most important military campaigns in world history. The Allied invasion of Normandy, France, set the stage for the defeat of the Axis powers in World War II.
We begin our coverage back in Normandy with stirring words from President Biden and other world leaders.
If you want to know the price of freedom, come here to Normandy.
The missing man formation over Normandy, France. President Biden visibly moved, commemorating the 156,000 Allied troops who stormed the beaches 80 years ago to stop Hitler's army marching through Europe. More than 4,400 would die, including more than 2,500 Americans. Biden, who was a toddler when these veterans landed on the shores, expressing the gratitude of generations. Biden's thanks came with a warning that modern democracies must not let up in the fight against authoritarianism.
We're living in a time when democracy is more at risk across the world than at any point since the end of World War II. Will we stand against tyranny, against evil, against crushing brutality of the iron fist? Will we stand for freedom?
The president framing the sacrifice of those who fought and died at Normandy as a living thing.
Democracy is never guaranteed. Every generation must preserve it, defend it, and fight for it. That's the test of the ages.
The president is set to deliver another speech Friday atop the sheer cliffs scaled by Army Rangers who neutralized German guns. He'll meet with French President Emmanuel Macron on Saturday.
We know that there were soldiers and sailors and airmen involved in that massive operation, but did you know there were also meteorologists?
That's right. Emily has the pivotal role that they played in the invasion and why it happened precisely on June the 6th, 1944.
In the weather world, you could say this was history's most important forecast. The D-Day operation required a very specific set of conditions. It needed to take place shortly before dawn, on a rising tide, and preferably on a night with a full moon. Keeping those conditions in mind, there was only a short list of available dates, and on that short list was June 5th through the 7th. Allied troops waited in camps across the south of England, but the weekend of June 3rd through the 5th saw strong winds, low clouds, and rough seas. On Saturday, June 3rd, General Eisenhower gave the order to postpone. However, on June 4th, crucial information was received from an Irish weather station. It was believed a ridge of high pressure would be building in, meaning calmer weather was on the way. So in the early morning of June 5th, General Eisenhower met with his senior staff and decided it was time. If the invasion had been postponed again until the next available date, which was June 18th, the results of the war could have been very different. That week, the worst storm in 40 years arrived in the English Channel, and it would have made the landings impossible.
On the day of his inauguration, President John F. Kennedy asked Eisenhower what had given him the edge on D-Day, and Eisenhower replied, because we had better meteorologists than the Germans.
Kennedy Carter called her foul against Caitlin Clark a heat-of-the-moment play, saying she's a competitor and it was, quote, all hoops and all love.
I don't have any regrets with anything. I'm going to compete and play 100% hard no matter who it is, like I said, or who we're playing. No, I don't have any regrets.
We did not in any way mean to harm anyone, not in any way want to disrespect the game. That is not what we're about, and we will never be about that.
The no regrets includes how she handled post-game and her comments on social media, which included a post about Caitlin Clark that said, besides three-point shooting, what does she bring to the table?
At the end of the day, it's all love. Outside of basketball, when we're in those 4 lines, it's smoke.
The physicality of the WNBA is nothing new. Teresa Weatherspoon would know.
Watch all the film of how physical this game is. I mean, you can probably take a look at my body and tell the game's pretty dang physical. Take a look at me. The game's pretty dang physical. And it's not to harm anyone. It's not to harm anyone in any way. We do not want to play the game that way. We want to have fun playing the game.
Everybody in the league should be ready for it, not just the rookies. I mean, coming into a league that is super competitive with amazing talent here, like, I wasn't coming in here expecting it to be easy because of the name I have.
You know, I don't know Caitlin. I don't know her from anywhere. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, this is hoops. It's competitive, and this is basketball. And you're playing against somebody like me. I classify myself as a dog. So if you're gonna throw a punch, then I'm gonna compete with you. I'm gonna play at the level that you're given. So that's just the player that I am.
Weatherspoon would not go into detail on any other internal consequences for Carter, if any. She also wouldn't answer if she will sit out any additional games.
Bears will practice for a day against the Cincinnati Bengals August 15th before their preseason game on the 17th. Bears' 3 days of mandatory minicamp wrapped up today. Huge win for the team. The veteran defense coming together, chirping against a rebuilt offense led by their rookie quarterback. Bears' final practice shorter today. Caleb Williams showing progress. He was sharp, threw a couple of touchdown passes, working on the cadence with his offensive line, the verbiage of the offense, not making the same mistakes twice, and most important, building a rapport and earning the support of his teammates.
I feel that there's a light at the end of that tunnel. Right now, we're working with our head down and we're building. And so, just having that moment with myself, I do it every day. As I sit there and say, we're going to be pretty damn good.
You definitely see some things that you don't really expect from a rookie to do. You know, he moved us a couple times with his eyes. The first day had me and Tremaine hot about it, but it was he's impressed us for sure.
You could tell he has something in his notebook every single day. You know, he's really focused and locked in on his tools, his technique, and he doesn't let the outside noise affect him, which is good. Being the Bears QB is obviously new for me. So them being graceful and encouraging has been huge for me.
My parting message today was simple. It was, control the things you can control. And I always tell the guys, in the word win, I stands for individual responsibility. So this is that time of year that we have individual responsibility to each teammate and everybody in the building. And we're counting on you, to come back in a better way, 2 steps up from where you are right now.
They'll come back in July. Here are some key dates for fans interested in watching the Bears at training camp this summer. It's open to the public, July 26th and 27th practices. Also, July 30th, August 4th, August 6th and 7th, August 13th, 14th, and that practice I was talking about with the Bengals on the 15th as well. So all 9 practices are free to the public. Tickets, first come, first serve.
The Bears' proposal to build a huge new dome stadium right on the lakefront seems to have stalled politically, for now at least, but that hasn't stopped the top Bear from continuing to push for the project today, pitching some of the city's biggest movers and shakers.
The Chicago Bears have shown that we believe in Chicago, but we need businesses to lean into Chicago.
Chicago Bears CEO Kevin Warren delivering the keynote speech at today's annual luncheon for the Chicagoland Chamber of Commerce. Warren told business leaders the team's proposal to build a $6 billion dome stadium just south of Soldier Field will generate more than $8 billion in economic impact, including 43,000 construction jobs and 4,000 permanent jobs. Warren pitched the stadium project as something Chicago needs at a time when the city's economy is still recovering from the pandemic, saying he counts construction cranes as a sign of the city's health.
It's only so long that we can lean on the fact that we're Chicago. We got to start coming together, doing big jobs, putting people to work, closing that economic gap between people of color and non-people of color. 8 cranes in a year. And I would challenge you, as you leave here, look around Chicago and try to find those cranes.
But a number of political leaders at today's luncheon say the Bears fumbled the ball by announcing the project before lining up political support. and say there's no public appetite right now to put billions of public tax dollars into the pocket of a successful pro sports team.
No, I don't see any money coming from City Council, and I think that, the mayor stepping out with the endorsement of the Bears while we're negotiating, I think has put us in a bad position. I think that we should have waited to figure out what else the Bears are willing to offer up.
They're great at hype. They know how to promote something, but they haven't put a winning team on the football field, and I don't think they're putting a winning proposal in Springfield yet.
In fact, the General Assembly failed to take up a stadium build during its spring session, and may not all year, but Warren says it's a slow process, and he plans to continue a dialogue with political leaders.
This is such a special experience here at Brookfield Zoo, Chicago. We are taking you behind the scenes to check out part of their conservation efforts here with the pangolin, and this is the CEO, Dr. Mike. Tell me about this animal.
So this is a really unique animal that we're with today, and this is really a special opportunity to show some of our work behind the scenes in the conservation work we do. So this is a white-bellied pangolin. Currently, there's 8 species of pangolin. They're some of the most endangered mammals in the world, with massive, massive loss of population sizes due to illegal hunting of these animals for both bushmeat, but more primarily for harvesting of their scales, which are being used as an illegally trafficked substance that has traditional medicinal purposes that is leading to really the extinction of these animals.
And it's rare, they're rare, but also it's rare for a zoo to have them here as well, and you've really studied them.
Yeah, so only a handful of zoos around the world that have had success with these animals under human care. A lot of that's related to their diet, so they eat a very unique diet in the wild of primarily ants and termites, and we've had to develop a diet in zoos to keep these animals healthy and surviving. You can see the really long tongue that's going to come out here to get these ant eggs that we've got in this tube. But the challenges with caring for them has made it very hard for zoos to work with them, but we've had a lot of success lately here at Brookfield Zoo working with this species. We've had some successful reproduction, we've got young animals, and are really working to build up a sustainable population of this animal under human care.
And tell me how important they are to the cycle of life. I mean, where do they come from and what do they do?
Yeah, so there's 4 different species in Africa and 4 different species in Asia, Southeast Asia. They vary in size. This is one of the smaller species. The biggest species is several times larger than this, but they're really a unique animal in that they eat a very specialized diet, as we talked about, and they play a very important role in kind of regulating insect populations and tearing up termite mounds and making it so other animals are able to get to some of those food sources as well.
Well, good job, little friend. This is Nina, by the way. She's so super cute. And if people come to Brookfield Zoo, Chicago, they want to visit Nina and her friends, where can they see them?
So we have one pangolin on Habitat in Habitat Africa, the forest, that allows our visitors and our guests to see that one up close. The rest of them are all behind the scenes, though, because our primary goal is to really learn more about these animals through our science programs to understand how to better protect and conserve them in the wild, and then also to just build up that population of animals in zoos and use them as an opportunity to tell their story and really share that unique challenge that they're facing in the wild with the general public.
Well, so nice to meet you, little lady, and thanks for spending some time with us here.
Snelling says to make no mistake, the city is prepared. But to those that want to disrupt, he says the First Amendment only goes so far.
First Amendment protection is only there if you're not committing a crime. And you can be acting out peacefully, but still breaking the law. So if you sit in if you block a roadway or you block a venue, or you're on private property and you refuse to leave, those are crimes.
Snelling defiant on stopping protests from getting out of hand, despite Cook County State's Attorney Kim Foxx's vow not to prosecute for peaceful protesting, and a recent Inspector General report saying CPD isn't quite ready for prime time when it comes to policing mass events. Still, Snelling says his department is ready, but a coalition of protest groups is in court seeking a permit to march within sight and sound of the United Center. They say Snelling's comments overstep his authority.
We get a permit to march. It covers a specific section of the city streets and parks. It covers specific hours. If we want to sit down on the street during our permit, that's he's got nothing to say about that.
Snelling was joined today by U.S. Secret Service Director and Chicago native Kimberly Cheadle. Secret Service officials say the agency will provide video surveillance tools around the United Center. Cheadle says the goal is for a safe event with minimal headaches for residents.
That we have done an extraordinary amount of outreach with the local community, and we've made very sure that the footprint that we have for security is as minimal an impact to residents, businesses, neighborhoods as possible.
Snelling says 400 officers from other departments will join CPD for convention weekend. As for a specific security perimeter around the United Center, that won't be unveiled until late July.
The decision to house migrants in Gage Park was a point of contention because while it got them off police station floors, it meant community resources and activities were put on pause. Now they are back right on time for summer break. 1 year after closing down to the community to shelter hundreds of migrants,
we showed just how welcoming and open Chicago can be.
The city is turning the Gage Park Fieldhouse back over to neighbors.
It will help to engage and give our young people something safe to do.
Look at this cute of a thing. The grand reopening gives Richard Petrowski a positive outlook on the summer.
Keeping them off the streets is what we're trying to do.
The Gage Park Baseball and Softball Association works with kids as young as 5 years old, all the way through college.
We're one family.
Building on skills both on and off the field.
We're not out there just to make them better baseball players. We're out there to make them better young men.
He says re-accessing the park will also provide space to reunite as a team.
After practices, we got to practice, and then hey, we're going to the pool. Let's go have some fun in the pool.
Likewise, Sonia Carrizales is exploring summer activities for her twin girls.
The girls love to swim. They have to burn that energy.
The pool is set to reopen on June 17th, just one of many programs she says they'll be enjoying in the coming months.
I'm excited to hear about the new programs. We needed our park back.
Gage Park is one of 5 facilities to reopen this month. Leon Beach Park and Brands Park are already open. A celebration similar to today's will be held this Saturday. That will be taking place at Broadway Armory Park, and then later this month, Petrovsky Park.
Chicago Sports Insiders.
I am so excited. This is gold right now.
Streaming now on your smart TV at Fox 32 on Fox Local, your home of the Bears team.
1, 2, 3.
Download Fox Local and get in the game now. Search Fox Local on these streaming platforms and start watching today.